r/AskReddit. What innocent item gets suspicious if you own too much of it? I saw a Tifa post about a guy who bought a bunch of pressure cookers on sale to give to friends as gifts. Turned out that set off some anti-terrorism flags. So I'm gonna go with pressure cookers. I mean, I understand the court flag. They got super paranoid about it immediately after the Boston bombing. Friend got called into ours because he was looking at them during his lunch break. He was looking at them for a wedding present. Oh man. In the months after Boston bombing, it became impossible to own or operate a pressure cooker without being looked at suspiciously. Indians are prolific users of pressure cookers, and for us, it's great for one-pot dishes. You can even transport food in it after cooking cause it's spill-proof, then reheat at destination, and serve directly out of it. I got a few suspicious glances from people who saw me carrying it, but never had the law called on me. Cough syrup. Oh yes mom, I have 30 bottles of Tussin for my chronic cough. Judge. Broken leg? Just rub the Tussin on it. And when the Tussin runs out, just throw some water in the bottle and shake it up. More Tussin. Clocks. Either all exactly synced or all way off. When I was an undergrad, me and my two friends lived together in a house. Whenever we saw a yard sale, we'd stop and buy any reasonably priced clocks. We'd then hang the clocks on the walls of the house in asymmetrical places, and we'd leave them on whatever time they were at, even if they were dead. So our house had nearly 100 clocks after 4 years, all of which said different times and several of which made faint ticking sounds. My roommate, who was the least enthused about this decor, would wake up after a particularly drunk night hungover as hell and just scream angrily, "What duckine time is it?" as he walked from room to room. Anyway, when we moved out, we had our own yard sale with only clocks for sale. People thought we were freaks, but we sold about half of them. Sometimes I still hear the unsynchronized clicking today when I lay down at night and close my eyes. That sounds like tinnitus, but with extra steps. I saw what I would describe as a suspicious amount of peanut butter in the bed of a truck once. I think 2 or 3 12-pack cases. Preppers like it because it lasts a long time, is calorie dense, and has lots of protein. I love having lots of peanut butter and lots of honey. Both have many uses and stay good for a long time. I don't think honey ever expires. Honey does not expire. There's so much sugar that any microbes that try to feed off of the honey get their water sucked out of them from osmosis. Drain cleaner. I live in Methville. When I go to buy pure lye, I make artisan soaps. I always make sure to say, for soap making. Even so, I still get funny looks sometimes. That makes you seem more guilty, lol. Cardboard cutouts. You have one cardboard cutout, and it's a novelty decoration, but you have a room full of them, and it gets a little weird. Perfect for when your parents accidentally leave you home for the holidays, and you need to make it look like you're having a party to deter burglars. Toilet paper. You hoarding ducks? I needed TP and paper towel today in the regular course of me running out of such things. I felt like I was getting judgmental looks walking home with a regular sized pack of each. Just feel lucky you were able to find any. I'm down to 2 rolls and all the supermarkets here are out. Pictures of a person. But it's okay if the person is Nicolas Cage. I have a sequin pillow that looks solid red, but when you wipe all the sequins the other way it's Nick Cage's face. Bleach. Can I have 12 bottles of bleach please? I bought a lot of cleaning supplies a few weeks ago. The coronavirus wasn't well known, so it looked like I needed to clean up a lot of dead bodies. I also learned that buying a lot of isopropanol won't get you carded, but 1 beer or caffeine pills will get you carded. I used to work in a marine parts store. We stocked a lot of different cleaning materials, most of which we got from suppliers. but the bleach and baking soda we bought from the Dollar Tree next door. So about once a month I would go over there with $40 cash and buy a cart full of bleach and baking soda. Never failed to get the weirdest looks from everyone. Kidneys. 2 is enough, 3 or more is going to raise some questions. Also could be genetics. Went to school with a girl that had 4 full working kidneys. She didn't find out till she had to get a scan for some reason. 10 years later, she still got the 4 kidneys. I went to school with a kid that ruptured his spleen getting tackled in a football game. He went to the hospital, where he found out he had a second spleen. Easy to answer though. When you get a kidney transplant, they leave the old ones in. The new one goes in the front actually. I know a person, due to a congenital disease, who had 5 kidneys in her body. When the current one stops working, they were planning on removing at least one of the transplants. Tampons. A guy we know hoards them because he thinks if the government collapses they will become a hot commodity that he can use to trade. I'm talking a shed full of boxes. All kinds. Unbeknownst to him, menstrual cups exist. And rags. He picked a strange tampon covered hill to die on. Please tell him they have a shelf life of 5 years and then could be seriously dangerous. I worked at a pool supply store. They sell an extra strong peroxide as an alternative to chlorine. IDKY, but we had to report large purchases to the FBI. Reported this guy after we used his customer info to search his address on Google Earth. It was rural and had a few different outbuildings. Seemed sketchy. FBI got back to us a few weeks later. He was using the chemical to clean animal skulls he bought from a slaughterhouse. Then he carved the skulls and sold them. The FBI lady said he showed her his whole process, and it was pretty impressive. I've never thought of using peroxide to clean my skulls. Till I guess. Children. Depends if they are your own or someone else's children. Well, they're mine now. FBI has joined the chat. KGB has entered the room. SWAT has breached the room. The NSA has been watching the whole time. The CIA got socially anxious with so many people in one room and left. Freezers. Not if you have a farm. 3 freezers and 2 big fridges. Where else would you put all the meat? Cook them all and store them in my belly. Dolls. My grandma used to have about 70 porcelain dolls, old creepy ones. God bless her, but when she passed we donated them to the dump. As creepy as they are, those may have been worth finding a collector for. Lube. You can buy a 50-gallon barrel on Amazon. One day I'm gonna make a really long slip and slide, submerge myself in the barrel, and slide. Mirrors for sure. I've been in an elderly person's house where there was literally too many of them to count and it just feels weird. This comment's so much weirder when you misread mirrors as minors. My mum has over 40 mirrors. I didn't really notice it, but a year ago when me and some buddies helped my parents move, they kept on joking about it. Oh, here's yet another mirrors. Are your parents worried about vampires or just vain? Spoons. I've got 28,000 spoons. Not different ones, all the same. They are all over the house, but I've also got a spoon room, where most of them are neatly organized. You don't want a spoon mess, it needs to be neat. I love my spoons. Once in a while I will invite people and most of them pretend everything is fine. I think they are uncomfortable, but don't dare say anything. None of them ever accepted a second invitation. Sometimes I feel lonely, and when this happens, I take one of my spoons, go to bed and we cuddle. This has always comforted me. Cash. If you have too much cash, it's automatically an assumption that you traffic drugs in some way. For me, water. My neighbors had well water and would dry up. They asked if they could run a hose and put it in their well, they would pay what was owed. Did this outlet last summer, no big deal, they paid. Then they bought a big above ground pool. Filled it for them, they always paid, my part was always around the same, so I wasn't bent out of shape. One day the water meter guy knocked with an officer wanting to know why I was using so much water. I explained, showed them many hoses to reach my neighbors, and they were there to help explain. They explained to me that much water usage was throwing a red flag. So they were sent out to investigate to make sure no marijuana growing was happening. Plot twist, your neighbors were growing weed. Duct tape. I'm just practicing my kidnapping skills, I'm not actually kidnapping people yet.